former Aurora school resource officer at the center of controversy tonight after a CBI investigation found he made a series of inappropriate texts to a minor.
But as Denver 7's Sam Pena found out, he is now facing a series of criminal charges.
It is disappointed, the whole situation that happened. It is heartbreaking. It is sad to see one of us tarnishing our whole community, because there always is that things that one apple can contaminate the rest of the apple. But my thing with this whole situation is that it sucks, because I'm looking at this in two windows. The first window I'm looking at it was a public figure or public official.
Mm-hmm.
And the second of that, under that being a public official, he has a responsibility to inspire a lot of the youth in our community to aspire to be an officer, to be somebody that could be in a lot of those school and a lot of places where we have always said black people don't have access to all those places. But now, look, not just a black, but someone as an African immigrant migrated here, look how we are excelling, and, you know, to use him as a standard for our community. There is that. And he has broken that promises and that desire for a lot of the youth to look up to, someone to look up to. The second window I'm looking at it, and when you go to all the evidence that was presented, you'd be like, man, this is a husband. It's not like a single person.
Mm-hmm.
He is a husband and a father. And the question I tend to ask is that why? Why going after an underage teenager when you have a grown-ass woman at home? When you have a woman at home, anything that you can do outside, you can do it on the inside with your wife. You have that. And you broken that promises for an underage girl. You put yourself in this whole situation that handle your police officer's career, that handed your whole basically, I would say your career. I don't know if it can ever be trusted to hold a public offices, or can even be put in a place where there are children around. It cannot. And that is something, to me, it sucks. It is not a representation. It's not a well representation of us, of our image, that a lot of us are trying to change this negativity that are out there in the community. This image of like child soldier, poor kids, and all these things. That's a lot of us grew up without father. A lot of us grew up in the war-torn country and all these things. There's all this negativity image that have been painted on us that came from Africa. And on top of that, to have this also associated with that, to me is, and that's where it get me like, bro, why you allow an underage girl to why did you allow a desire to be with an underage girl to ruin the whole career, the whole opportunity that you could have accomplished in your professional life or professional career? Because that destroyed that. Because if you read that article, you can never become a police officer. You can never be around underage kid. He can never all these things like. And with the recent, even with the lawsuit, even the civil lawsuit that has been filed, made everything worse. You see, and it sucks that people are now looking at us as the African community, and we are not talking about this. Bro, it's like, because I just don't understand this whole thing. Why do we get married in the first place? Because this always go back to the reason we've been talking about it. Why did we get married? What's our benefits? What's a man's benefit in a relationship? All these things. But if you say like, man, I find the one, this is the person, the bone of my bone, and this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, why can't you be with that one person and not look anything out there? And the person you are looking out there, you know, is a kid still in high school. You are the adult. To me, and that's the things that I want to know, like, how did we get there? How did we get there? From an adult to an underage person. To me, it's not matching. If it was for another adult to another adult, I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't mind bugging into that. And I would say those are adult situations. They all are adult. But you are in position of power. When you look at it in the eyes of the law, you are a public official. You are in the position of power. And the fact that you couldn't even approach the girl and ask the girl for the phone number, you have to go to your police system to get her information. To me, that's a weak move. That's a weak move. And to me, you are a coward for doing that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to call it the way I see it. And I will deal with the repercussion like I've always been. You are a coward for doing that because you don't have the ball to face even a little girl. And you have to go to that system and log in knowing that they record all your activities. How stupid we got to be? How stupid can one be? To me, it's like, it anger me. It is disgusting. And now it's out there, it's in the public, and now with the civil lawsuit that's been filed, and the police department, they have no choice but to settle, to find a way to put this on the side. But right here, you ruin all this reputation, all this nice thing that could have been, you could have been this example that a lot of our kids and our youth could have used you as an example, as a standard to become a police officer, to join this law enforcement community. Now you have just made it worse or hard for a lot of people like us to get into that field. It's no longer going to be easy. Now they're going to be digging deeper to make sure we don't get another what is the word I'm looking for? Another pedophile? I'm sorry, but that's what it is, man. Someone who's, because if you go based on the age, 16 or 14 at the time, they say, until by the time the discovery was, she was already 16. So if you have to do all those things, like, that's what's going to do. They're going to start putting blockage and preventing a lot of immigrants to join the police force. And Aurora recently made it easier for immigrants to join police force. They are one of the first cities in the whole United States, I believe, or in the state of Colorado, to remove a lot of the requirement. Aurora made that to allow a lot of us to be represented in the police force, because there's a lot of immigrants in this state of Colorado. and you're gonna ruin that for everybody. So to me, it's disgrace. And I know that you don't want to talk about it, but I'm calling it the way it is, Uncle Chi.
Yeah.
Honestly. It is a disgrace, and I think it's shameful that this dude end up taking that road. I don't know how you're going to continue to wake up and sleep next to your wife, knowing that you could have whatever you were dreaming or envisioned to be with that underage girl. You could have asked your wife. Like, this is what I'm saying. We need bold men. We need people that because I feel like there's a lot of mediocre men in our community. I believe so.
Okay.
And I'm sick and tired of it. As a man, you are the head. I don't know how men are becoming the tail and the women are becoming the head. If you decide to propose and went through the whole process and married that person, that tells me that person is the most beautiful and the most important thing in the world, that you decide to go into that role with that person. And if you're going to step up, don't step down. Because the process of becoming a police officer is a long process. The process of that, it is a long process. First of all, you have to apply. You get invited. You take the national test. All I'm just giving is my perspective. How hard it is for someone to become a police officer and end up wasting that opportunity. I just want to, like I was saying, there was the test and the exam. You have to pass that with 80%.
Okay.
After you pass that, you have to take a polygraph exam and a psychological exam.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe there's also a mental health exam. Those three, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have to pass those three. And then physical, 4. And then 6 months of academy.
Mm-hmm.
And to that, you have to pass all steps of the academy in order to be able to graduate it and to get your license and all these things to become a police officer. Just look at that whole process, Uncle Chi. You tell me, I went to all of those processes, and now I'm that person, that officer. I accepted all the suffering. You know, like we always say, like all the suffering of doing homework, staying up all night, like pulling up research and all these things. If you have to, I'm using school as an example. And today, I decide not to use everything that I've learned in school for something else. You see, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's like, to me, it's like, man, it sucks. Because to be able to pass the police physical, you have to be in the gym nearly every single day, Uncle G. I promise you.
You sound like a personal experience.
Because I know I look at the whole thingy, like, you know, the whole physical description. It's not like those, bro. It requires a lot, and that's why you see when they messed up, they held them accountable with a higher standard of every law of the book. Because everything that it said is for you to quit before you can make any mistake. But you didn't. You persevere. You went to it. Blood, sweat. And then you crossed the finish line. And you got throw that away because of a 16-year-old girl in high school. In high school. And you have a wife at home. Not for another adult woman. For a kid that will call your wife at home auntie. Bro, what world are we living in? What is this? And that maybe she doesn't even have a license yet to drive. She can't even enter a bar or anything. Like, bro, what were you thinking? Where were you going to be taking her to? Applebee's, McDonald's, Chipotle. Let's say if the relationship happened, where were you guys? Like, think about all of those. An adult, we can go anywhere. We can travel. We can go anywhere with an adult. But a 16 years old girl, curfew. What is the Colorado curfew time? Is it 10 or midnight? She can't even, bro. And probably her parents still control her phone and all these apps that have been developed that parent can now read a child message without them even knowing and all these things. Bro, and you are an adult, and plus a police officer, a wife, a home, and you throw your entire career because of a kid. Bro, to me it's just absurd. To me it's just crazy. And now we should act like nothing happened. I want him and those people that are into that same boat to know we won't give you an easy pass. We will call you out. Maybe because I just don't want to mention it because I don't know all the legality of everything out there yet. Since there's a civil lawsuit that's been filed against him and the police department and all these things. Maybe that's why. But I feel like we cannot say, oh, he was happy, he wasn't happy at home, or the wife wasn't satisfying him and all this. No, that is BS, bro. That is BS. I'd rather you would have been with an adult. Cheat with an adult. I would have not sit here and talk about that. But you went with a kid. Because you never know. That kid can be somebody's little sister, nephew, nieces. And that you mess with that person like that. It is just shame. To me, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I said it. I repeat it. I put my face to it. You know where to find me. Let's have a convo.